This is another video about battery life in older electric vehicles. So I've done a few videos on this subject before, but I've got here a few more older EVs and we're going to look at the battery packs. So here we have a Renault Zoe. This is actually a 2013 car, so it's now 7 years old. It's in this lovely Calippo grey. But this car's only done 19,500 miles. So inside the Zoe here, I've got my scanner plugged into the diagnostic port here, and we can look at the live data on the battery pack. So that's the real-time feed from the pack. And this is looking at all the cell voltages of all the individual cells and all of the temperatures. And then further down here, state of charge is 85%, which is about right. There we can see we've lost 1 bar there off the battery. But battery condition, 98% state of health. So even after 7 years of life, this car has only lost 2% of the battery pack. So many years of life left in that pack. So let's look at another Zoe. This one is a late 2014, so this one's actually now 5.5 years old, but it has done 35,000 miles. And then we'll do the same on this car, scanning the real-time data feed from the battery pack, and what we'll find, I'm pretty sure, is just like the other one. Battery condition, 98% state of health. So the reason why both of these Zoes are showing a particularly good state of health is because they've recently had a software upgrade. That's the BMS battery management system software. So on the original Zoe, the original software had a few bugs in it. So if you've got an early Zoe, maybe your battery won't be as good as this, but if you have that software upgrade, then it will be correcting all the bugs and it will show you a much better state of health. So even after many years of driving, the battery packs do not lose much in their capacity. The Renaults are particularly good though. On a Renault, you're looking at less than 1% loss a year, obviously considerably less in these cases, but even on a Renault Kangoo, you're looking at only about 1% loss in capacity per year. So let's look at another car, this time a Nissan Leaf. Obviously this is a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf. It's a 13 plate, so this is now 7 years old, and this car's actually done 96,000 miles. So I sold this car 2 years ago to a customer. They've now upgraded to a Tesla and I've got it in to sell on their behalf. So Nissan Leafs are known to have slightly more battery degradation on their packs. That's because they don't have any thermal management on their batteries. They don't have any cooling. So all other EVs will have forced air cooling or water cooling. On the Leafs, it just relies on the air blowing over the pack while you drive. But obviously while you're sat charging, there's no air blowing over it. So the battery packs could potentially get a little bit warm, but that's really only going to happen when you're rapid charging. However, battery packs on a Leaf do degrade slightly more than they do on a Renault, for example. But let's have a look at this pack and see what this one's performing like. On the Leaf, I can't use my scanner. While the scanner does work with the Leaf and report on lots of battery pack information and everything on the car, it does not show you the state of health. I think that is because the battery pack isn't actually reporting that information. So what I have to use is a ODB2 dongle with my mobile phone using the LeafSpy software, and that gives me a state of health figure. So I think with these, the battery pack probably isn't actually reporting the state of health. That's why my scanner doesn't pick it up. I think it's more the case that the LeafSpy software is calculating the state of health from the information that's coming from the car. On the Leafs, the diagnostic port is down here underneath the steering wheel behind that cover, and I can plug the dongle in there. So looking at this one, the mileage is 94,699 miles. The battery doesn't have much charge in it, that's why the range meter there is flashing. But on the Leafs you get a battery state of health gauge along the side. You actually get 12 of these bars going up the side. This car has just lost the first bar. So each bar isn't actually 1/12 of the battery. The way it works is the first bar is 15%, and then the other bars are lesser. They're then 85% divided by 11, whatever that is. But the first bar is a considerably bigger percentage than the rest. And this lost its first bar just recently during the lockdown. So looking on my phone here, I've got Leaf Spy running. We can see the state of charge is 21.3%, and obviously we've got 2 bars there on the battery pack, so that's all okay. And we can see here state of health is 83.09%. So yeah, this battery has lost 17% in 95,000 miles. Interestingly enough, I just plugged this in only 5 minutes ago because I actually made a mistake with the recording and I didn't have my microphone plugged in, so I'm redoing this again. And only 5 minutes ago the state of health was 83.99%, so we've nearly lost 1% in 5 minutes. And that's the thing with battery state of health, it can go up as well as down, and it will fluctuate a little bit. I think this is, as I said, it's because it's a calculated figure. And this is what's happening recently with EVs, because the pattern of driving has changed and cars have been left sat idle for a long time during this pandemic. Battery state of health in some cars, particularly on Leafs, has taken a bit of a tumble. But once the car starts driving again and you do a few rapid charges, because rapid charges are good for the battery, then you might find state of health will jump back up. It does fluctuate by a few percent depending on how the car's being driven. If we look at the stats here, this car has done 309 rapid charges and 5,949 slow charges. So we were always led to believe that rapid charging was bad for the battery pack. To be honest, it hasn't really borne out true. Rapid charges can be very good for a battery pack. The problem is temperature. You don't want to be doing multiple rapid charges quickly because the temperature can get hot, and it's the pushing the battery packs to the extreme is what does the damage, not necessarily rapid charge. But occasional rapid charging on a battery pack is actually good for the battery. I know of older Nissan Leafs that have been taxis and have had thousands of rapid chargers, and their batteries are no worse than cars that have normal use. And as I said, occasional rapid charging does actually benefit the battery. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does, battery state of health will increase a little bit when this car starts getting used, because all the cars have been affected because of the lockdown and lack of use. So I've just seen another example of another 24 kilowatt hour Leaf, hi Gareth, where the battery state of health is now risen following shutdown, and now the car's back in daily use. The battery state of health has gone from 75% up to 81%, so a 6% increase just when the car starts getting back into daily use. And that's the thing with battery state of health, it can go up as well as it can go down, but cars don't like being sat unused, so you'll often find a high mileage car like this will have a better battery pack than a low mileage car. But battery state of health does fluctuate, and as we've seen in the pandemic recently, where cars are being sat still, not being used, the Getter meters, the range meters on the cars might drop considerably, purely because it's reporting on a poorer condition battery, just because it's not being used. But once you start getting back out there, using the cars again, maybe doing a few rapid charges, it will take a little while, but you'll see battery state of health rise again. However, even after 7 years and 95,000 miles, a Nissan Leaf, which is known to have slightly worse battery degradation than all other EVs, has still only lost 16 or 17% in 95,000 miles. So still plenty of life left in the battery and plenty of life left in the car. So I hope you found that video useful. If you have, please do click that thumbs up icon on YouTube, because that really does help other people find the videos. And maybe have a look at the back catalogue on the channel. Plenty of other EV videos. And if you want to, subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video.